All right, good morning, everybody. Appreciate you guys being here. We have a pretty much the same start of the day that we had yesterday. We had that P shape, very trendy day on Monday, and then we started pretty flat on Tuesday morning. Then we had obviously another very trendy day on Tuesday during the day. And now we are doing the same thing, starting pretty flat on the open of Wednesday. It almost looks pretty much identical to this day as well, where it kind of had that retest. You can see, put in a little bit of a retest of the POC, retested it again, and then he popped away from it. So right here, built the POC, retested it, popped away from it. So nearly identical to yesterday. So we are treating this day the same exact way we treated yesterday. So we start out with a D-shaped profile, but we have a little bit of a... sorry, one second, my YouTube's messed up. There we go. We have a little bit of a D-shaped profile. We're looking for rotations, but we have a slight bias on the buy side, obviously because that ridiculous momentum from yesterday. So at first, you want to look for rotations, but realistically, you want to be hovering more on the buy side. You want to have that bullish bias or that potential breakout. So if we stay above that 785, we want to look for those extension levels, which I did grab the new extension from yesterday, going to 860 and 880. Then we can look for 940 and 960. Probably not today. That's a little far away. You would hope it doesn't get there today. That's pretty crazy. But for today, somewhere around like 860, 880, that should be reasonable. Staying below 785, we go back into that retest. So kind of chopping around that POC, maybe just kind of rotating around that level for a little bit, or filling in all those single prints on the way down back into the value low. There's like 4 different single print zones left open yesterday. So as we are retracing, you're just going to fill those in. So that goes back down to around 700. So we could say around 700 to like 37, which is the tail low there. Yeah, literally, if you traded yesterday, it is exactly the same. There is almost no difference from yesterday. Same exact story on NASDAQ. You have that D-shape overlap on that POC profile there, POC node, I should say. A bunch of single prints below if you do want to fill in that retrace down to the value low. If it stays below that like 990 to 950 area, then look for that retrace. If it stays above it, we don't have extension targets above on NASDAQ because we actually still have value above us. We are not all-time high. So that value is very old. It goes back to July, goes back to June, but there is value above us. We are not all-time high. So we are looking for value levels. Then we have extensions probably next week or something like that if we do continue. So that would be going up to 30,000, 30,070, 315, somewhere around there. But same thing, you're looking for rotations, but you have that slight bullish bias because our momentum is just disgusting to the upside. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Future, Jazz, Banana. Good morning, Ken, Steven, Julio. Good morning, V, Andreas, Luis, Ray. Good morning, Roma, Greg, Scott, Orion. Good morning, BB. Good morning, Abby, Larry, Flory, AT. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Hugo, Peter. Good morning, Big, Adam, Music. Good morning, Mir, eBay, Captain, Anthony. Good morning, Lulu, Lubomir, Sebastian. By the way, guys, thank you for 25K. We hit that 25K subscribers. I think we hit it this morning. I appreciate you guys all being here over the years. We've only really been pushing on YouTube since like 2020, 2021-ish. So if you guys have been watching for that long, I appreciate you guys being here. If you guys are brand new viewers as well, thank you for subscribing. But we did finally hit that 25K. I would say it's been a long 5 years, but it really hasn't. It kind of sped by, so. We'll see where we are in another 5 years. Maybe we'll be at 50K. Yeah, appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for that. Nice little milestone. The 30-minute chart is just so ridiculous on equities here. You're just running the entire time, protecting the trail. When you have trends like this and you guys are looking for like, what does a Momo trap look like? Basically just look for a trend like this and then go back and look at the Momo. And anytime you have those little dips, those are traps, right? So like the sellers are trapped here, they're trapped there, and they're trapped like right there, right? Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Dennis. Good morning, Ike. Oh, but yeah, since we hit 25K, if you remind me, I'll try not to forget. But at the end of the stream, we'll do a couple of giveaways for some Apex accounts. I've got a couple of codes left over from our last batch. So we can give away a couple of accounts at the end of the stream. Okay, so far we are pretty much identical to yesterday, so we still have that slight bullish bias out of the open here. For the calendar, we have data at 9:45, 10 o'clock, crude oil at 10:30. Trump is speaking at 4:30, so that's after the close, so it doesn't matter too much. And then we have some earnings after the close as well. So a couple of data points right after the open here, so be careful. A lot of bearish delta on the open here. They tried to push up, but you have a lot of sell pressure trying to hold you down. Yesterday, we closed with one single red 30-minute candle, and it was basically at the close of the day. And pretty much every single 30-minute candle protected the lows. So we'll see if that trend continues for today as well. A little bit of data in 10 minutes, then some more around 10 o'clock as well. Pretty weak open compared to yesterday. What was our opening candle yesterday? Did it just start shooting up pretty much right away? It did, yeah. So right at the start, you had a massive candle yesterday. Just immediately started ripping. So a lot weaker today. Seeing that sell pressure kind of holding you down here. Good morning, Faraj, Fernando, ATF, Scooby. Good morning, Viking. Good morning, Sam. Good morning, Stream. I appreciate that stream. Yeah, we finally hit the big 25K. I think we only need like, what, 75,000 more and we get one of those play buttons. I think you used to get it at 100K unless they raised it again. I don't know if we'll ever I don't know if we'll ever be there. We might not get to the button. How do you measure the extensions? There's many ways you can do it. You can do like tail extensions, you can do Fibonacci. But a big way is just grabbing the impulse. So you grab the low and the high of the impulse, and then you just use Fibonacci extensions. They're not exact levels, but it's like a mathematical way to keep your extensions all relatively the same. Yeah, exactly, Jazz. Good morning, Matthew. Good morning, Chuck. Yeah, sellers are a lot stronger this morning compared to yesterday. We do have some data coming out in about 10 minutes here. Keep an eye on VWAP here, 901, and then back to 797. Scott, normally if they're moving in opposite directions, it's because the trend line is obviously the longer term line. So it's normally like almost like a flagging pattern. If the trend line's still like going up and the short term's going down, you might have like a bull flag and then like vice versa. You can also look for traps as well, like if the trend line is very flat and you're maintaining that kind of bullishness on the trend line, and then the short term is more so kind of cupping, kind of like this right here. That would be more of a trap. So it's kind of like those like short-term reversal patterns, but the long-term trend is still stable. That's kind of what it's telling you. And then if they're moving together, then that would be more of a squeeze or a pinch where they're very strong in that direction. The short-term and the long-term traders are agreeing that it should go whatever that way is. A lot of latency right now, possibly some headlines coming out. Good morning, Bob. Good morning, V. Can you guys believe the world was ending in April and now we're almost at 8K? It's almost like the market's designed to go up. Hey, V, I appreciate that. We have that data coming out in a couple of minutes. This is the lighter data, then it's more impactful at 10 a.m., I believe. You know, every time we're back to all-time high like this after like some kind of crisis, and I always go into like my perma-bear rants. I'm always thinking about like that Matrix meme of like Morpheus saying like, "Oh, he's starting to believe now," and it's like the bears. The bears are trying to jump across. Hopefully, you guys have seen the Matrix. Great movie. The bears are like Neo trying to jump across the roof, right? And he keeps falling because he doesn't believe. That's like the bears, the perma bears. They keep falling, and it hits all-time high again, rinse and repeat. And then eventually they start to believe, they start to understand how the market is coded. And then they can make that jump. They can get across the roof. Good morning, Olive. Delta much stronger today. Sell pressure much stronger today. We're not seeing that immediate explosion of price right out of the open. There is a little bit of a bear div here, obviously, helping that sell pressure come down. You can see the bear div in momentum pretty clear. Here comes that data, and then we have more at 10 o'clock and then 10:30. Hey, Ray, I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know if 100K is achievable, but we might be able to get to 50. 50 is the next goal. Okay, let's see here. 54.6 over 53.6, so a little bit high on that PMI. There is more coming out at 10 o'clock. Good morning, Mauser. Shocking that our GDP is 7 trillion in debt with 5 trillion in revenue. You don't want to get into that camp. You're teetering a line of like you're teetering a very dangerous line as a trader. If you guys care about stuff like that, you're like right on that line of like being a perma bear and trying to short the market because of like the economic numbers, right? So you don't want to care too much about that stuff. I can't tell you for how many years I've been streaming and trading that I hear stuff like that damn near every single day. And yet again, exactly what I just said. Look at where we are. When I started trading, we were in the 2000s. We're at 8,000 almost. Yeah, I don't know why I'm shadow banned, Chris. It's been like that forever. Um, that's why my channel grows so slowly. There's not much I can do about it. It just doesn't like my channel for some reason. Maybe the people that you see pop up, maybe they're paying for ads or something. And I'm not paying for ads, so they probably don't like that. Yeah, I've been shadow banned pretty much the entire time I've been on YouTube. Like people don't get my alerts even though they're subscribed with alerts on. People don't see my streams are live even though they're subscribed and they watch them every day. I've had people tell me that they get unsubscribed from me even though they didn't even do it themselves. Just all the bullshit. But nothing I can do really. I just gotta press the live button and keep going every day. Morning, Jay. NASDAQ a bit more bullish than ES today. ES was kind of leading most of the day yesterday. By the way, we did have AMD earnings yesterday, and they were pretty bad. Are they recovering? Okay, so they have recovered most of the sell-off. So they did sell off a bit. They have recovered most of that move. Well, I think there's a lot of fake shit going on in a lot of those channels as well. Like, they're probably view botting. They're probably paying for subscribers, like all that bullshit. So you're probably seeing a lot of that as well. Like, if you look at a channel and you're like, this guy's content's terrible, like, how the hell do they have this many subs? They're probably view botting and paying for subs. Yeah, it's pretty funny. YouTube shows me that, by the way. Keep an eye on VWAP here. ES is very weak. You're in that danger zone, stuck between the VWAPs. But yeah, YouTube shows me the data where it shows, like, how are people finding your channel? Like, what are the top searched terms? And for, like, normal trading channels, it's probably, like, day trading or scalping or volume profile, like, actual trading terms. For my channel, it's literally people typing my name in. Because of exactly what you guys said. You guys watch my channel already, it doesn't show you my content, so you have to type my name in. It's really stupid. A big block trade there, hitting VWAP. So there's the VWAP we were talking about. If you stay below VWAP, keep an eye on... let me show you here, it'd be a little easier. Keep an eye on the POC node and the value high of yesterday. So that's around the 80s, like 75 to 80. Well, that's what I'm saying, Linus. They literally have to manually type my name in, even though they are subscribing to me and they have my alerts on, because I'm shadow banned on YouTube. So even though I have like X amount of subscribers, my name is still the top search term for my channel, because that's how they have to find my videos. It's really stupid. Yeah, it's not for everybody, T. It's not for like the entire channel, but it's definitely for a large percentage of people. Getting exhausted below VWAP here. If it stays above VWAP, you're still in rotation. Rotation goes back to around 815. Yeah, like I said, it's not everybody. I've just been hearing it for years. People have to like turn the alerts off, turn them back on. They have to make sure they're subscribed because it will unsubscribe them. All the little shit. Good morning, Maverick. Good morning, Tamer. Yeah, I do have one strike on my account, but it was happening before I had that strike. But that strike might have made it worse. It's a really stupid strike that I don't even really want to talk about because it gets into politics, but I appealed it, and I'm pretty sure it went through some AI bullshit process, and they denied my appeal. So if I ever get striked again for like whatever reason, I'll be gone for like, I think it's like a week or something. Yeah, it's funny you said. I've thought about doing that, like just completely remaking the channel and seeing how fast the new one grows compared to this one. But yeah, that strike was back in like 2021 or something like that. Yeah, it probably sounds worse than it is, so I'll just tell you guys exactly what it is. Because not telling you probably sounds worse. But what happened was, and don't comment on this in the channel. I don't want to start a whole thing. But what happened was, if you guys remember back when Trump got banned on everything, he got banned on Twitter, he got banned on YouTube, he got banned on everything, right? I used to show the press conferences on stream. So like whenever there was a White House press conference or like whenever there was like a big press conference with the president, I would show it on stream. Very standard, nothing crazy, right? So the last one that I showed of his before he got banned was, I forgot, it was like an infrastructure one. He was like talking about the border, he was talking about like his different infrastructure stuff that he was going to do, whatever. And then I think like not even a month or two later, that's when the ban happened, where like he got banned across platforms. And they retroactively striked my channel for showing his like most recent press conference, even though it happened a month or two before he was banned. It made literally no sense. I think people just like spam reported me or something because of politics, I guess. But yeah, they striked my account, and then I appealed it, and I was like, how are you striking me when this happened before he was banned? And I literally was just showing a press conference like I always do. And they denied my appeal, so I still have a strike on my account. But yeah, that's YouTube and politics for you. And then after that, that's kind of when we stopped doing the politics shit. Is once that happened, I was like, okay, I'm done. And then of course he gets unbanned, obviously, and they don't take the strike away. So I still have a strike on my account even though he's unbanned. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Stronger. Yeah, a little bit of lore of the channel. We have more data coming out at 10 o'clock here. Very common to see a candle like this when you have morning data. We're just waiting on that morning data. I already did Farage. They denied it. I appealed it more recently, and they still denied it. Like I said, it's not a big deal, but that might be one of the reasons why the account is kind of shadow banned. It is what it is. I don't really give a shit. water under the bridge, right? Yeah, it's a big reason why I don't show any press conferences anymore, except for like the Fed one. We do the FOMC meeting, and that is it. I don't show the Congress ones. I don't show the White House ones. Any of that stuff. Yeah, music in the background, exactly. That's why I don't play music anymore as well. Bouncing off VWAP here. Here is the prior high. So you're already getting that prior high. Be very careful if you guys are in this VWAP trade. You have data coming out in 1 minute. Was that the origin of Truth Social? Yes, it was actually, yeah. Yeah, him getting banned on all the platforms is when he started Truth. And then that led to Elon buying Twitter, and the rest is history, right? Well, it's funny you say that, T. They forced the ads on me now, as you guys have probably seen. If you go back and watch my live streams after they end, they automatically slam like 50 ads on the video, and I have to go in and manually delete them one by one if I want to remove them, or I have to turn off my like monetization entirely. It's so ridiculous. I was looking at that yesterday because I was making an edit on one of my live streams, and it had like 50 ads on it. So basically, if you guys don't have premium, my live streams are really hard to watch if you go back and watch them after they're over. Okay, here's the 10 o'clock data. We've just been yapping, kind of waiting for the data here. Let's see how it comes out. It is 54.1 over 54.5, so a little bit low. Is the dollar reacting to either one of these data points? Not really. It is pretty flat. Little 5-minute bulldog if it stays like that. Okay, now you're pretty safe to trade as far as the calendar goes, except for 10:30. There is oil data coming out at 10:30, and that is it for the day. So then you're just looking out for random headlines, but the morning calendar is fine now. These are both the VWAPs, the session and the daily. Market is crazy. Market is crazy. How do you even trade this? Yeah, it's not giving you too many like high strike rate patterns recently. You're not getting your VWAP tests, except for today, obviously. But the last couple of days you've been running, not even testing VWAP. You're not getting a ton of reversals, so you're not getting those sweeps or like rollover tops or anything like that. You're really just getting the trend following system. So like watching the EMAs, watching the trail, watching the micro reversals where you come back down to like the 30-minute low and then reverse. So you have that sort of thing. You don't have like the big stuff, the big reversals, the VWAP trades, the value retraces, all that. So you really just got to find like what is the playbook for that day or like that type of market. And the playbook right now is all the trend following stuff. Okay, back into VWAP here. This might be the reaction to that 10 o'clock data. This is exactly what I just said about being careful if you were in that VWAP trade. You did get your VWAP targets if you were targeting the prior high, and now we are back into VWAP here. You've always got to be careful when there's data coming out at 9:45 and 10 o'clock. So this is very common for what it looks like when you have that 9:45 and 10 a.m. data. Which I think today is the only day this week that has that. It is, yeah. The rest of the data this week is pre-market for the most part. Treasury just posted new Iran-related sanctions. That could have helped us go down a little bit as well. Second time around, still doing a good job respecting VWAP there. Oh, by the way, this weekend we might only have a couple of shorts instead of 4. My editor was moving, so he has been busy for like half the week. We might have like 1 or 2 instead of the standard 4, but it should be back to normal the week after. They actually messed his internet up when he moved, and it was down for like 3 or 4 days. Giving you the second VWAP trade here, hitting that prior high target again. It's pretty awesome that we're actually getting some VWAP tests. We have not been touching VWAP for like a couple days. You've been running so hard. VWAP is so slow. You're usually not going to catch up to VWAP when you're running like that. So finally getting some good bounces off VWAP here. But yeah, I gave you guys that video yesterday. Let me grab that video again. For you guys that are like really confused about the market the last couple of days, I made a video on this a long time ago. That talks about how you can use the 8 and 24 EMAs like during these very trendy days. That just helps you keep an eye on like how aggressive it is it pulling back a lot, where the reversal is going to be, that sort of thing. Yeah, Matthew, that happens a lot where like you have the general understanding of like this is the trade plan, like this is the level it's going to get to, but finding the exact time to get into that trade plan is pretty difficult. The market recently, the last few days, has been like you got to get in really early and then hold on for dear life and try to hold on as long as possible. That's kind of been the play. And if you don't get in early, you just kind of miss most of it. I mean, you could get to 8K today. You could have a good day in one day and get there. We've had a ridiculous run the last few days. 8K is definitely not out of the question. Yeah, buyers are not as strong today. They're much weaker today. You can see a massive amount of exhaustion as they're pushing up, which you basically did not see the last couple of days. There was like literally no exhaustion the entire day. You had like one candle of exhaustion. You can see that daily pinch just ripping higher. Yeah, Matthew, it's just one of those things where it's like when you look at it in hindsight, it looks so easy the last couple of days. It's like, oh, just buy literally anywhere and you're fine. But when you're actually trading it, you have to go back and like highlight and look at the areas that have actual setups that you've already trained on. You've already built a trust for, right? And if you can't find any of those setups, then it's not really a easy day, even though it looks so easy. You had a couple of small traps and whatnot yesterday, like as you're running, obviously. Those were really good entries, which I've been putting out a lot of videos and stuff talking about that, shorts and whatnot. You had like a trap around 10:30. You had another trap right here around what time is that? 11:30. You had another one around almost 12:30. It's like almost every hour. You had a very small one right here. You had another one right here. And that was the end of that, I think. That's when it started to chop a little bit. But on the way up, what was that? That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You had 5 different traps on the way up. You could even say 6 if you include this one here. Where you have the short-term momentum coming down, but the long-term momentum is pretty bullish the entire time. And even when the long-term comes down, you're not able to stay below the trail, the 5-minute lows, the 24 EMA, like all the passive responsive levels. So even when the trend wants to let go, you can't even break the responsive level. So that's the number one thing you always want to watch for on those like very ridiculously trending days. Those micro pullbacks, um, the like short-term traps, like the really small pullbacks that turn into traps. Yeah, that's a TPO chart. Yep. Look at the big trades here. The big trades, the last like 15 minutes are all bearish. This is that kind of D-shape micro pullback, just getting those rotations. This would be like the second or third rotation. Still not seeing that bullish delta that we were seeing pretty much the entire day yesterday. Well, now that I say that, you were getting a bear div yesterday for a lot of the day as well. But at least at the open, you were getting a lot of bullish delta, I should say. In the afternoon, it kind of turned more into a bear div. Definitely bottom heavy on this balance. You can see a lot more bearish delta kind of in control. Keep an eye on VWAP. They're trying to push it down to that VWAP again. Not really a roll over top, but you are rolling over in momentum quite a bit. Lower high, lower high. No lower low yet, so they might want to test that kind of double bottom down here. You might want to pull down and grab liquidity there. We'll see if it pushes down. Hey, Trades, what's going on? Let me see what you said, Matthew. Yeah, it's kind of the seasonality, Matthew. It's just seasonality combined with what is happening in the headlines at the moment, right? The data's not too bad. Like most of the earnings have been pretty good. The headlines are calming down. Oil's coming down. Dollar's coming down. The summer is ending. People look at the summer as bearish for some reason. I don't know why they still do that. Kind of an old school line of thinking. But people still look at the summer as like bearish and a lot lower volume and all that stuff. So summer is ending, good earnings, data has not been terrible. All the correlated markets are going down. It's just like a perfect storm of everything looks good for the most part. You want a Ringo? And there's that price magnet we were talking about, kind of pulling down to these lows because you have that lower high structure. Is it going to break the lows? We'll see. Bob, you see me talk about that every single morning on the trade plan. That entire blue profile is the Asian and London levels. And if you think about it, the total session or the session profile that I use in the morning, that is literally just pre-market because we don't have anything after pre-market because I start my stream before the market opens. So all of that data that we're looking at is pre-market. Yeah, literally every morning. There's that low. So you did sweep that low. This structure is very common. So just remember that structure where you have buyers getting exhausted, lower high, lower high. You don't have the lower low yet. So they're looking for that lower value. And then you push down into those lows. And that's exactly what you just did. So dollar's still looking pretty weak, still coming down quite a bit. So we don't have that correlation right now. SpaceX bracing for $101 billion worth of shares becoming eligible for trading on Thursday, more than doubling the stock's public float. Then you have another 1.3 billion in October. And then by the end of December, you would have another around a billion, billion and a half. Basically every quarter. So like every quarter, there's like $1 billion worth entering the market. Which is why we say every single time. That is why the IPO pattern exists, because that share lockup, right? A lockup expires, they can sell, they make money, goes down. Nothing new. So maybe by like December, January, it might have a better place to buy. We'll see. If I even want to buy it. I'm not saying I will. I'm just talking about the IPO pattern. Now, if you want to see the image I was looking at it, here you go. This is the lockup. So right now we're in like the first big stage, and then it just slowly unlocks. We have a really big one in October, and then a really big one in December. But yeah, there's basically slow unlocks every month. Still putting in that lower high structure here. So you're entering a little bit of a trend. You have that, instead of chopping back and forth, you have lower highs and potentially lower lows, which should not be happening in a D-shaped profile, right? They should be pretty 50-50, but this is definitely more bottom heavy, like I was saying earlier with the candles. So definitely leaning towards that kind of POC magnet of yesterday. Yeah, I bet that's a good way to look at it. There are definitely a ton of hacks and stuff that go on, like just bad publicity, I guess you would say, with the crypto market. There was a big hack with what was it called? It was some type of wallet signature hack, which was like 110 million or something, which sounds like a lot of money, but like in the crypto market, that's like pennies. But yes, there are like it's almost every week you're hearing about a different hack for hundreds of millions or whatever it is. And it definitely probably scares a lot of people away from the crypto market. You don't really see the hacks on the stock market and stuff like that. You still have bad publicity, like you have the insider trading, you have like the meme stocks and like all just the the shit that's exploding that really shouldn't be exploding, right? The bubbles. Like you have stuff like that. But you don't have like people getting their accounts hacked and losing all their money. Um so yeah, it's just bad publicity for the most part. Definitely something holding back the crypto market. How is Bitcoin doing? I'm still looking for Bitcoin mostly around like 50K to 40K. I think somewhere around the 45 area would be best. This could be the local bottom. Like it has the potential. It has that kind of pattern where the sellers are getting exhausted. Like they put in a low, a very strong low, and then they lost momentum here. So the sellers are definitely losing momentum on this, I guess you would say, third low. But I don't really know if it has the telltale signs that we're used to seeing or like the actual bottom of Bitcoin. The main bottom. Typically the main bottom has pretty major capitulation. It has a massive sell-off that leads to a ton of buy pressure. You don't really have that right now. You are down quite a bit. It's down like 50% from the high, which is substantial. But like I said, doesn't have that telltale sign of like a massive capitulation. I would like it to capitulate and kind of sweep these lows right here, grab all that liquidity down here, then go back up. That would be pretty good. Or maybe even like test this pivot, which is really bad. That's around like 30K. We have a couple of pivots down here around like 30 to 40. If you start buying around 50 to 40 and then buy 40 to 30 if it continues, I think you're in a pretty good place long term. That's kind of what I'm looking for. If this is the bottom, I'm going to miss most of it because I'm not going to throw a ton of money into it where it is right now. So I'm hoping that this is not the main bottom. I'm not completely out of it, but I'm not going to have a big chunk in it. Yeah, exactly. You're not going to like get someone to hack your 401k or your Roth IRAs or something like that, hopefully, right? And it's insured for the most part. But there are crypto exchanges that have like FDIC or some type of insurance, basically like a bank account as well. Just not like the the side brokers, the side accounts. Yeah, you've been breaking balance for a while. I was saying that earlier with the structure changing. So you're changing from a two-directional structure to a one-directional structure once you started putting in the lower highs. So if you guys were watching that magnet level that I talked about earlier, we are completely destroying that now. So lower high, lower high, lower high, and then there's the lower low that we talked about for that structure changing from a D shape into more of a kind of like a capital P, but it's a failure capital P, where the node is on the high and then a long lower tail. And here is that retrace we talked about. Keep an eye on that value high around 85. Potential bull div there, a little bit of weakness. Kind of exhausted. Getting much more aggressive. Notice how it's protecting the ADMA on every single bounce back. It started back here, and this goes back to those. I believe we put those shorts out. I don't know if they're still in the pipeline, but it goes back to those shorts where we talk about when you have a balance and you're kind of ignoring EMAs like this. You're just completely ignoring them. Like you test them a little bit, but then you just ignore them. You're not staying in a trend, constantly respecting them. That's a balance, right? You're just ignoring them, chopping back and forth. But when you start seeing like, okay, we're testing it, we're testing it, we're testing it, we're testing it, and they're respecting it every time in the same direction. They're not going back and forth. They're respecting it bearishly every time. You should not be doing that when you're balancing. So you're not balancing, right? You're breaking balance. The sellers are very obviously in control. They're getting a little exhausted down here. We'll see if they can fix that. They're bouncing off this 1 minute pivot, which is actually very old. And it's bouncing to the tick. That's from 6 a.m. 85, I believe, is the value low, or like the overnight low and the value high of yesterday, I believe. That exhaustion is causing a little bit of a pullback into the 24, potentially VWAP, maybe a bear flag into VWAP. They're basically, this is the first attempt to maybe we want to go back to balance, right? They're trying to go back to that rotation, but can they? That's the big question. Can they stay above the 24? Can they stay above VWAP? If they cannot, then it's not going back to balance. You're staying in a pretty strong downtrend. EMAs are just personal preference. You basically just find what works for like your style, and those are the ones that work for me. It's kind of a EMAs are kind of a placebo where like you can put on damn near any EMA on the chart and you can create in your head like a system around it. Like it just looks like it respects it. That's just kind of how EMAs work. Now some look a lot cleaner than others. Like the 8 and 24 might be cleaner than the 10 and 30. But it's mostly just a placebo. It just kind of makes it look like it is responding to it perfectly. Um, but like I said, you can kind of do that with almost any EMA. It's just how you look at them. How do you build a system around them? Like I could throw on a 50, I could throw on a 100, I could throw on just a random number like a 43, a 5, right? Just anything. And you can kind of build a system around it. Okay, so exactly what you were just saying about the potential return to balance. They were trying to get back into balance. You failed the 24, you failed VWAP, so you are not going back into balance. This trend is very strong. And look at the sell pressure coming in on that retest because they're saying, like, okay, if we're not going back into balance, we're pretty safe to sell here. And that's where the sellers are coming in pretty strong here. Still getting a little bit exhausted on the low, which I think is just them being scared of selling into this massive buy pressure from yesterday. It's a little bit harder to be a seller down here. It's always a little bit hard to be a seller on like the first break of balance because you're doing something the day has failed to do the entire time, basically. So keep an eye on 85. Below that, you have a ton of single prints from yesterday. And then you have that, yeah, look at all these highlights here. Those are all single prints going all the way back down to like 90, 690. So 100 points. But the close ones are more reasonable, back to like 750. So keep an eye on those. Big sell there, bearish block trade pushing you down. That's a bad time for a block trade. Not only is it low of day, but you're creating a large tail, which could have single prints back to 93, which yet again, what do we always talk about? We always talk about one of their favorite things to do is they create new single prints as they're filling in old single prints. And that's really just, that happens because the single prints that were left open that are being filled in, what are they? They're typically very obvious LVNs, right? They're very low volume. They don't have a ton of value protecting it. So it can create those new ones as it's filling in the old ones. You can't get access to these on TradingView like by default. These are my indicators, the Oasis Trading Suite and the Momo. You can get access through using our Apex code and sending me the receipt if you use the code, and then obviously your TradingView name. I'll give you access to that username. If you're a Discord member, that sort of thing, you can get access to. Everything else, this is all on Addis. So this is TradingView. Everything else is Addis. Mostly EMAs, VWAPs, standard order flow stuff. Looking at Delta, looking at tapes, volume profile, that sort of thing. But yeah, these right here, they're not open. You have to get access through those avenues that I talked about. But right now, Apex is, I believe, still 90% off. They still have their legacy accounts. So the easiest way would be if you guys want an Apex account, just use the code and then send me an email with your TradingView username and the receipt, and I'll give you guys access for 60 days. Which Apex do I like, the legacy or the new one? It really depends on what you're looking for. Like if you're looking to trade more aggressively and kind of, I wouldn't say like speed through the account, but you're not trying to take your time for 3 months, 4 months, then the regular ones. If you want to take more of your time, then the legacy accounts, because the legacy accounts you can hold for longer than a month. The new accounts, they reset every month, so you have to pass the account within a month. Everything else, like the small rules and whatnot, they're basically the same with slight advantages on the newer accounts. The newer accounts have kind of looser rules, if you will, right? But the big thing is whether or not you want to take your time and like really hold on to the account for longer than a month. That's the main difference. If you are grabbing the legacies, I would recommend like the 250Ks. Those are typically the most popular, at least with our community. You can go with like the 100s or the 150s as well. I wouldn't do the 50Ks with the legacies because of the volatility right now. Being offered that chance to do the bigger accounts, you might as well do the bigger account, right? Yeah, appreciate that, Jazz. Yeah, I think 100Ks are fine. Anything above 50 right now is a bit safer. The 50s are just a little tight. The market's moving quite a bit. I wouldn't say they're in the category of the 25Ks. Like I don't even recommend the 25Ks at all. I don't think the 50s are there yet, but they're like teetering on the line of like being a little aggressive because of how quick the market is moving. Yeah, exactly. That's what we were saying when that block trade came in. You really don't like seeing those block trades on low of day and high of day. By the way, single prints being filled in. There's only one left. But yeah, you guys, if you guys are not familiar with the block trades, you do not like seeing those big block trades on. It doesn't matter what color they are. It doesn't matter if they're sell or buy. You don't like seeing them on high of day or low of day because it makes it look like they're kind of grabbing liquidity and then pushing it back. Well, I should say you do like seeing them for like the reversal side. You don't like seeing them for momentum. And it is worse. I said the color doesn't matter. It doesn't, but there's like a bonus, right? It is worse if it's a seller block on low of day and a buyer block on high of day, because once again, it's kind of trapping you into thinking that there's momentum there. And then what it's doing right here happens very often, where it looks like the momentum's there, but then it goes right back. Yeah, then there's that line of thinking as well, where you could say the color doesn't matter because you could just look at it as the opposing color as well. So like there's a big seller there. Okay, that means there's a big buyer there as well. And that's why I try to not talk too much about like I try not to say like, oh, there's a sell block there, it must be bearish, or there's a buy block there, it must be bullish. We don't look at block trades like that. When I say bullish or bearish block, it's really a bad habit I try to break. I just mean the color. Like this is a red block, so sometimes I'll say bearish block. And on the blue, or sorry, the green blocks, I'll say bullish. Like I said, it's a bad habit. I try to break it, but I'm just referring to the color. Hey, Leo, congrats on the baby, man. Streams been going. Yeah, streams are fine, man. They've been good. We just hit our 25K subs. So once again, I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. That is awesome. But yeah, they haven't been too crazy. Nothing too wild going on. Obviously, the last couple of days, the market's been a little crazy, but it's been pretty stable. Funny enough, like it's been a crazy move, like out of the ordinary, but it's been a pretty stable move. It's not like insanely choppy, going back and forth with headlines and the Iran bullshit and all that. It's been overall fairly stable. Yeah, exactly, Leo. We've already priced in a lot of the local bullshit that's going on, in the local price action, I mean. So now it's kind of more stable. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier, Leo, funny enough. I was like, oh, it was the end of the world on April, and now we're all-time high, nearly 8,000 again. Exactly, Leo, and that's what I try to always push on the channel for the most part. Like, obviously not right away. You want to let it go down a little bit when there's like bad news or geopolitical stuff going on, but once it's been down a pretty decent chunk, then you want to start looking at it as a very good buying opportunity and not the end of the world. And that's where so many people miss out on the greatest buying opportunities they've had in their lifetime because they're panicking with everybody else instead of looking at it as an opportunity, right? It's just emotions. It's like we always talk about it in trading. People get emotional during times like that, like COVID. COVID's very emotional. Iran, very emotional. When it has to do with politics, very emotional. And when you add more and more emotion into your trading, you're making bad decisions. Basically, there's almost no time where like you getting emotional is helping you in your trading. It's almost always net negative, and that happens during all those events, during all those times. Your emotions are high. You're not logically thinking about things, and you make bad decisions. That's why traders that have very strong control of their emotions, they do very well when people are doing the worst. Like COVID, people are doing terrible market wise, right? And then people that are very in tune with controlling their emotions and trading logically, that was like the best time in their lifetime to be a buyer. Iran, people are extremely emotional, panicking. People that look at it as a buying opportunity, they're doing very, very good, right? Best dip buying opportunity we've had probably all year, right? So it's just controlling your emotions. That's all it is. Keep an eye on VWAP. We are still exhausted on the low here. It all started with that block trade. This is why we do not like block trades on lows. It is exhausted now, filling in those single prints. We don't know, is it just a single print fill in? Can they stay above that level? They have to stay above that like 92. And then if it does stay above 92, it's not really a big shift because then there's VWAP. But then you have to watch out for VWAP back to 800. Still hasn't decided if it wants to stay above the single prints here. It's actually showing a little bit of bearish pressure on that single print. Pretty bearish that you could not fill in that last single print there, because that should have been a pretty easy bounce. So right now what we're doing is, this is what you have to look out for when you have this P shape into a D shape micro pullback. This one is like slightly above the P shape. We're building value above it. So we're kind of losing value. Like, we're losing this value from today. But what we're doing is we're really just respecting the value of the P shape. So now we're going into that kind of rotation of the POC node. So keep an eye on that. And you can kind of mark out like the POC, or like, here, we'll do it this way to make it easier. You can mark out like the low and like where the POC is, because that's where the buyers like need to come in. If the buyers do not come in here, it gets really bad, because then you have all these single prints down here, and then you have the value retrace as well. So that's kind of like the last line of support for the buyers. They really need to hold on to, say, like 60. And if they lose 60, it gets a lot worse. And that's kind of what we're doing right now on NASDAQ as well. So like, you can grab the bottom of the POC to kind of where the POC is, and the buyers need to hold on to that, or once again, single prints and retrace. Another big block trade on the low again. Doing the exact same thing here, creating a large tail and then kind of getting exhausted. And then here are those zones I was talking about. So they really have to hold on there, which they are. They're holding it like to the tick on NASDAQ. And there you go, to the tick on ES. So to the tick, holding that exact level they need to on both ES and NASDAQ. If they lose that level, that becomes, it's like a cliff. That's where the sell pressure starts to ramp up quite a bit. But yeah, it does not get much cleaner than that. That is how you respect the POC node. Yeah, exactly, Leo. Keep it on that 30-minute close. In the next 5 minutes, they might have single prints going back to 72. Keeks, don't type in all caps, man. It makes you look like a bot. I always look over and think they're bots, and I want to ban them. But yes, I've got tons of videos going over my charts. If you watch my added settings video, it's my most recent video on the channel. It goes over how to read every single chart on my screen, and not just how to read them. If you want to replicate them, I go over my settings as well. Yeah, no worries. It's just protecting you. Like I said, my first instinct every time I see that, I'm always like, oh, let me just ban this guy. I don't even like look at the message. It's like that's how bots type. They just spam in all caps until they get banned. Yeah, add his settings. I believe it's still the most recent video. If not, it's like the second most recent. It goes over everything. The only one it's not going to show is this one because this is not an Addis chart. That's a trading view chart. Still holding that exact tick they need to hold. Losing that is going to fill in a lot of single prints and then the value retrace. Yeah, Mauser, I talked about it earlier. I'm assuming you weren't in here when I did. Let me see if I have that chart. This is the lockup for SpaceX. So it gets much bigger in October, much bigger on Thursday, and then much bigger in December as well. So basically every few months, the lockup does continue. Continue to let go, I guess you would say. Yeah, no change. It's exactly what I said when it IPO'd, exactly what I said before it IPO'd. It's following the exact IPO pattern that we talked about. Absolutely no change in that technique. Doubling the float, halving the price? Not exactly. It's not really how that works. It would be too easy if it was that simple. But that's kind of the basics behind the IPO pattern. It's simple supply and demand. The supply is going up. If the demand stays the same, then price has to go down. If the demand gets worse and supply is going up, then the price has to go down rapidly. Yeah, Chris, I've got 2 accounts from my last batch. I hope they're not expired. I don't remember when I got these. Um, they shouldn't be expired. I've got 2 codes left, and we're going to do a giveaway here in a few minutes for hitting the 25K subs. A couple of single prints going up to 73 here. Where'd you find the lockup chart? It was one of the accounts that I follow on Twitter. One of the financial accounts. They posted information on the lockup period. I'm not sure who it was. It was too long ago. Filling in the single prints on the bottom, still have one back to 93. Bulldog. Not really. It's kind of more like a rollover bottom. That 24 EMA is still doing a very good job. And this goes back to what we talked about, is very similar to what's today, Wednesday? It might have been Monday, where you started out in a little bit of a balance, but then you had that break, and then the trend line was just pretty much the EMAs. That's kind of what we're seeing now. So like balance, balance, balance. Started respecting the 24, respected it again, respected it again, respected it again. So very clearly still out of balance here, but you are getting exhausted on the way down. The sellers are not as strong as the buyers were like yesterday or the day before. They are getting exhausted. That is mostly from block trades, though. The block trades are causing that exhaustion. So funny enough, we actually covered this exact pattern at the start of the stream, but I covered it on the buy side. Now you're seeing it on the sell side. You keep seeing those traps. You're just constantly seeing the traps on the momentum and the trail. Keep an eye on that low of the POC node, because once you start losing that, that's when you go into all of those single prints. There's so many single prints left open yesterday, basically retracing the entire day. Okay, let's go ahead and do a quick giveaway before we call it a stream as a thank you for your getting to 25K subs. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. I do have a couple of Apex accounts left over, a couple of codes, I mean, that you guys can use for Apex accounts. Let me go ahead and get that ready really quick. Okay, if you guys have not participated in a giveaway here before, it's very, very simple. I just do a random number generator between 1 and 50. So just pick a random number between 1 and 50. Only pick one number. Don't just type a bunch of numbers. Don't worry about if somebody picked your number. We're going to do a tiebreaker if there is a tie. Make sure you press that live button on the YouTube stream, because if you're like 20, 30 seconds delayed, you're not going to see if I pull your number. So press that live button. You should have less than a 10-second delay. Typically, it's around like 5 seconds. So press live. Pick a number between 1 and 50. Don't pick a second number. Do not change your number. And that's all you got to do. If I do pull your number, just let me know. I'll double check. And then have your email ready, because I'll have to have you send me an email, and then I'll send you the code. Well, first I'll verify it's you, and then I'll send you the code. We're going to do 2 giveaways, so I'm going to roll it twice. So don't change your number. I'm just going to roll it twice. So we'll roll it once, and then we'll find out who won the first one, and then I'll roll it again after we have the first winner. And like I said, this is going to be for a promo code that will give you an Apex account for free for 30 days. I don't know if these codes will work on the legacy accounts. You can try it if you want, but when I got these codes, they were not giving the legacy account promotion. So I think it's mostly for the new accounts. You can try it though. Yeah, like I said, press that live button. Make sure you do not have a large delay on the stream. I see a couple people putting multiple numbers. I'm just going to use your first number. So that's going to be whatever your first number was. What time is it? I'll give you another 20 seconds. All right, good luck, guys. Like I said, do not change your number. I'm just going to roll it twice. So we'll roll it once. We'll find the winner. We'll do the tiebreaker, all that stuff. And then I will roll it again. It was 43, which I believe I did see somebody have 43. Let me double check. Yes, we do have a 43. Mega, are you still here? Is there anybody else? Let me see. I have like 4 42s. You guys are off by one number, unfortunately. Mega, I think it's just you, which is good. No tiebreaker for the first one. Okay, Mega, I'll come back to you in a second. Let me do the second roll. Next one is 3, which I do see a 3 eBay. Is there somebody else? Let me see. 3 is so hard to search because every single number has a 3 in it. Let me see here. I see you, eBay. I think you are the only one, I believe. Oh, Den has it as well? Sorry, let me double check. I didn't see you. How am I missing you? Where is you? Okay, I see you. Sorry, I did miss you. Okay, so you and eBay will have to do a tiebreaker. Give me 1 second. Let me double check I didn't miss anybody else. Okay, I think it's just you two. So we're going to do a tiebreaker with you two, and then Mega, you are fine for yours. No tiebreaker on your end. So for the tiebreaker, can you guys pick a number between 1 and 10? And I'll just keep rolling until it hits one of you guys. So eBay, pick a number between 1 and 10, and then Den as well. So eBay is sticking with 3, and then what do you want, Den? And then Mega, while you're waiting, here is my email. So Mega, send me an email with your YouTube username. I'm going to send you a random number. Just type that in chat so I can confirm it's you. Dan, you have like 10 seconds. There you are, 7. You guys got to press that live button. I'm not going to sit here waiting for your delay. So eBay, you have 3. Dan, you have 7. Okay, good luck, guys. It was 3, so you got it, eBay. Okay, same thing, eBay. Send me an email on that email that I just sent. Just let me know what your YouTube name is. I'm going to send you a random number and then type that in chat. If you guys are heading out, I appreciate being here. We'll do more giveaways in the future. We're just not going to do them like every day like we used to. But we'll do more in the future. Thank you guys for 25K subs. I really appreciate that. I will be streaming tomorrow, same time as always. I will be streaming in the Discord for the rest of the day as well. If you guys are in Discord, I'll catch you guys there. Mega, let me know when you sent the email, and eBay, let me know when you sent the email. I see you, Mega. I'm going to send you a number. Just type that in chat. And I see you as well, eBay. Here is your number. They actually made this easier. I think you can like direct message on YouTube now, but this is just the way that I do it, so we might change it in the future. I see you, Mega. You're good to go. The next thing you'll see, Mega, I'm going to send you a promo code. It should work on every Apex account that is the regular ones. I don't know if it works on the legacy ones. You can try it on the legacy ones if that's the kind of account you want. But when I got those codes, they weren't doing the legacy account, so I don't know if it works. So try it on the regular accounts. If you really want to try it on the legacy, you can, but it might not work. So if it doesn't work on the legacy, just get a regular account. Same thing for you, eBay. I see your number as well. But all right, guys, that's it for now. I'll see you in Discord. Just keep an eye on the trade plan. It has not changed much. We are still bouncing off that, or at least testing that POC of yesterday. So as long as you stay kind of relatively on that node, it's not that bad. If you lose that node, that's much worse. So you don't want to lose that POC node of yesterday. Then you start filling in the single prints back down to the value low as well. But all right, guys, once again, thank you for 25K. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace, everybody.